You ever watch a woman fall for some loud, obnoxious guy and think to yourself, what the hell is wrong with her? I mean, you're intelligent, emotionally aware, you actually listen, you've got your life together, and yet she chooses the guy who grunts his way through conversations, says totally dumb, inappropriate shit sometimes, and seems to have nothing at all in common with her. And it doesn't really make sense, but that's the problem, because if you keep approaching women like this should respond logically, like things need to make sense, you'll keep losing her to guys who don't think at all. Hi, I'm Bobby Rio, and in this video, I'm gonna show you the exact reasons this happens, what I call the genius failure paradox, and how to flip it so that being smart actually becomes your advantage. So the genius failure paradox is the painful irony that the smarter a guy is, the more he tends to struggle with women and with dating and with understanding all of this. And this is because attraction doesn't follow the same rules as everything else in your life. You're used to logic, precision, things making sense, right? Cause and effect. But when it comes to women, none of that shit works like it should. So what too many guys fail to realize is this: attraction isn't earned, it's triggered. And the things that trigger attraction often make zero logical sense. In fact, attraction is so counterintuitive that it'll make your brain hurt, especially if you're smart and you're the kind of person who thinks things need to follow logical patterns, which is why so many smart guys very often make common mistakes. Like the biggest one of all is they think that doing nice things is the smart way to create attraction. They think showing up with flowers, knowing her favorite travel spot, and choosing her favorite restaurant proves that you're a thoughtful, caring, gentleman. But that's the problem, because any guy can do any of those things. Any average approval-seeking guy can show up with flowers, kiss her ass, try to prove that he's a good choice. She's seen it a million times, and it's boring. In fact, the smarter you are, the more you pride yourself on thinking ahead and being thoughtful and doing the right things, the more likely you are to accidentally come across as another boring nice guy trying too hard to please her. Because guess what? Every other guy who's smart is thinking those same thoughts you're thinking. They're not original, right? You think you're being original when you choose a gift for her, or when you send her that bouquet of roses, but that's the same thing all these other guys were doing. And that's why attraction feels so backwards. The things that you think should work, backfire. The things that you think should impress her fall flat. And the guys who aren't even thinking about this at all, very often they're the ones just sparking tension, having fun, saying the wrong thing, sometimes on purpose, and they're the ones walking away with her. Now, real quick, before we get to the next big mistake, if you've been feeling that disconnect, like something in your wiring, right, your mental wiring just doesn't match what actually works with women, I put together a download that'll help. It's called the High Value Belief Installation. This isn't tips or pickup lines. What it is a fast reframe of the mindset and beliefs that are quietly sabotaging how women experience you. I'll link to it below. You can grab it now or after the video. Okay, so I remember a coaching client of mine, Nate, and Nate was really a smart guy, really smart. I think he went to Ivy League. He owned multiple rental properties before he was 35. And one night we're out at a lounge and he starts talking to this woman at a bar, and he's doing everything right on paper. Asking thoughtful questions, relating to her stories, even remembering small details of things that she mentioned 10 minutes ago, and then calling back to it. Meanwhile, a guy nearby, slightly buzzed, maybe even drunk, wearing a wrinkled t-shirt, he comes over to her and he goes, "You're looking at me like a fat kid looks at a cheeseburger. Just say hi already." And you can see her face, she lights up. She starts laughing, she starts hitting him playfully, and 10 minutes later, she's walking out with that guy, the cheeseburger guy, right? The guy who told her she looks like a fat kid looking at a cheeseburger. Now, Nate's standing there like he just got hit by a bus, because in Nate's mind, that move should not have worked. It was rude, it was not even this original sort of thing. It was unserious, it was just not something he expected to work on a woman. But that's the thing, attraction doesn't reward logic. It rewards boldness, playfulness, risk. Nate tried to build a perfect connection resume, right? Common hobbies, check. Shared interests, check. He even pulled out his phone and like showed her pictures from his recent vacation from Rome, thinking like, okay, impressive vacations. I'm boyfriend material. And she leaves the guy who like tells her that she's looking at him like a fat kid looks at a cheeseburger, right? He teased her once, he made her laugh. Here's why. She doesn't fall for the guy who checks all the boxes. It's not how it works. She falls for the guy who gives her butterflies in her stomach. She falls for the guy who teases her at just the right moment, pulls her out of her head, creates tension that feels magnetic, and he doesn't flinch. She falls for the guy who invites her into his world, and something just feels exciting about it. More exciting than the guy giving her his resume. On the other hand, right, smart guys very often get stuck in interview mode. I know, I was the king of interview mode. They're trying to build a case like it's a job application, but here's something else that most guys miss. When a woman's at a bar, when she's at a party, when she's on a date with you, she's not looking for an intellectually stimulating conversation. As much as we want that to be the case, it's not. She's looking to feel alive, to laugh, to flirt, to get swept into the moment. She doesn't want to think too hard. She doesn't want to get pinned into some heavy logical conversations about careers or childhoods or long-term compatibility. She's looking for someone who can pull her out of her head and into the moment. Someone who can make her laugh, make her feel feminine, make her forget about her boss and her bills and her crappy roommate and her endless to-do list. She doesn't want to be sucked into those kind of conversations. She wants to be in what I call play mode, not interview mode, not therapy session mode, not build a logical case for why we should date mode. Attraction thrives when you take her back to the playground and literally interact with her the way she would have interacted with her like crush back in the 5th grade. If you keep the vibe too heavy, too serious, too cerebral, and you do that too soon, you're short-circuiting the very thing that makes her want to connect with you in the first place. Which brings us to the next big mistake that smart guys make, and I was guilty of this one for years. Setting the bar too damn high. Smart guys very often shoot themselves in the foot because they treat pickup or a date like it's this high-stake performance. They think it has to be flawless, cool, charismatic, totally suave, like they're auditioning for the role of James Bond. But here's the thing, women don't fall for James Bond. Guys think he's cool, but like James Bond at a party is like not gonna get the average girl. She's not gonna have fun with that guy, right? They fall for the guy who makes them feel like they're on the playground, the guy telling silly jokes, stupid games, playful teasing. Smart guys want pickup to feel smooth. They aim for perfection, but perfection kills the vibe. It makes you overthink and it makes you worry too much about the small hiccups in the interaction. One of the best nights that I ever had with a girl started with me talking to her, and I wound up spitting mid-sentence, like a full missile launch of spit right into her face. She literally had to wipe my spit off her face with her sleeve. Now, the old me would have wanted to sink through the floor and just immediately leave. But I just smirked at her and I said, "You're welcome. Most girls have to wait till date 3 for a taste of that." And she burst out laughing. And in that moment, I could see the shift because it's not about being perfect. It's about being unshaken. When you can mess up, own it, and keep the vibe going like nothing happened, that's when she starts to feel something real because she's not thinking, wow, what a flawless guy. She's thinking, holy shit, this guy isn't fazed by anything. He can just have fun. He's in his own frame, right? I use that word frame control, and frame really is about bringing her into your reality and not letting things take you out of that reality. You're just having fun. And when she sees you having fun, she wants into that reality. Even getting to the first kiss. Smart guys, and again, I was guilty of this, they expect it to be this perfect end of the night kiss. But it's the guy who goes caveman, who thinks, wow, you look cute right now, leans in, kisses her mid-sentence, completely spontaneous. That's attractive to her. Not the guy, walking her to the car and looking for the right hint of moonlight and then not ever doing it because he overthought the whole situation. Smart guys really spend too much time trying not to mess up that they forget how to have fun. And women, they're not grading your game. They're just paying attention to the vibe. And when it comes to a vibe, playground beats polished. Caveman beats calculated. Be the guy who's having the most fun in the room, and he's pulling her into that fun. Now, another big reason that smart guys fail is they can't stop overthinking things. The curse of overthinking has probably ruined more dating lives for men than anything else out there. And it's not that you don't know what to do. It's that you think too damn much before doing it. And anytime you think too much, a woman can almost see and feel the gears turning in your brain, and it's unattractive. It makes you, in the book, The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene, he talks about the anti-seducers. Anti-seducers are like reasons why a guy struggles. And one of the things he talks about is the bumbler. And the bumbler is in his head analyzing every move he's gonna make. And when you're in your head analyzing it, that energy comes across, and women just have amazing ability to pick up on that energy. So when you're smart and you hesitate and you overthink and you worry, you know, maybe you want to approach a woman and you're worrying about interrupting her night. You're worrying about saying the wrong thing. So by the time you work up the nerve, the moment's gone, right? It's no longer this spontaneous thing. It's her seeing you, like looking at her and not going, and now you just look kind of weak to her. And by that time, another guy's probably swooped in. Smart guys tend to be hyper empathetic. What do I mean by that? I mean, they don't want to be pushy. They don't want to intrude. They don't want to make her uncomfortable, which sounds noble, but it often comes off as indecisive, like I said, timid, unmasculine, weak. She doesn't want a guy who's tiptoeing through the conversation like it's a minefield. She wants a man who can create a moment without asking permission. Not a man who sits there calculating odds, silently debating if now's the right time to say something flirty. And here's the paradox. The longer you wait, the more tension dies and the more awkward it feels to finally say or do something. This was a lesson I learned like a while ago, and it's something I stress to my clients over and over again. It's the longer you stay in logical, respectful, non-flirty mode, right? If you go the whole date and you're not immediately in that fun playground vibe that I mentioned, and now 45 minutes in, an hour in, now you want to switch, it's a lot harder than if you sit down and like the guy that in the example with Nate, the first thing he says to her is, "You look like a fat kid you're looking at me like a fat kid looks at a cheeseburger." You've already created that playground sort of vibe with her, and now you've jump started it. Whereas if you're waiting and waiting and waiting to start that flirty, teasing type of interaction, it gets harder and harder the longer you wait. If you sit there analyzing every word, worrying about every reaction, you will kill your own vibe before she gets a chance to feel it. And this is really why the guys who don't think hard, the guys who just say what's on their mind, lean in and take that risk are the ones she remembers. So let's go deeper into what's really holding smart guys back. It's not just overthinking, it's not just fear, it's ego. See, the smarter a guy is, the more used to he is of being good at things. He's probably successful in other areas of life. He's respected, admired, maybe even feared a little bit by his coworkers or employees. So when it comes to women, he doesn't want to risk looking stupid. He doesn't want to say the wrong thing. He doesn't want to get rejected. He doesn't want to chase and then feel like a fool. So he starts playing defense. He tells himself things like, "I'm just waiting for the right moment. I don't want to be like those pushy guys. I'm building rapport first." But really, he's just protecting his ego. He's playing not to lose. And the second that you start playing not to lose, you've already lost, because you're no longer acting from desire, you're acting from fear. And fear is that fear energy really is an attraction repellent. Women feel it when you're holding back. They feel it when you're too careful, when you're calculating every move instead of leading the vibe. The guys who win, they don't do that. They play to win. I have an entire video on the difference between playing not to lose and playing to win. And part of playing to win is taking risks. They flirt boldly, they escalate when it feels right, not when it feels safe. They don't filter themselves to protect their pride. They let her see the full unedited version of themselves, and they let the chips fall where they will. Because when you play to win, you're okay messing up. You're okay being polarizing. Smart guys want to succeed without risking failure, but that's not how the game works. There's a moment in every interaction. Maybe it's when you're about to walk over and say hi. Maybe it's when she gives you that look and you know it's time to kiss her. Maybe it's when she pulls back a little bit and you feel that fear of losing her kick in. That's the moment that reveals everything. That's the moment where either you play not to lose, you hesitate, you overthink, you protect your pride, or you play to win. You take your shot, you own the moment, and you're willing to risk rejection. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Attraction lives on the other side of risk. Again, attraction lives on the other side of risk. Being risk averse can be effective in a lot of areas of life, but attraction is not one of them. Now, if this hit home for you and you've been caught in that cycle of playing it safe, overthinking, or trying to be smart guy who earns attraction, then I want you to try 2 drills this week. They're very simple, they're fast, and they break the exact patterns that you are getting stuck at. Drill number 1 is the interview disruptor. Next time you're talking to a woman and you catch yourself slipping into interview mode, so what do you do? Where are you from? You have any siblings? I want you to immediately say something that breaks the pattern. Literally anything that shifts the energy into play mode. You can blurt out, I love tacos. You look like you bully a barista. You seem like someone who would be dangerous at karaoke. I don't care what it is. Just stop the safe, logical flow and inject some unpredictability into it. Now, one of the things I tell clients is sometimes it's good to have like a question that you jump to. You go, well, you know what? Before I forget, I've been arguing with my friend earlier and I need your opinion on this. And then just change the fucking subject to something kind of fun, something unpredictable. It's not about being clever. It's about shifting the vibe fast. So drill number 2 is caveman mode. So here's a simple mindset shift. How would you interact with her if you already knew she was into you? Would you worry about saying the perfect thing? Would you overanalyze every word before you speak? Would you hesitate to hold her hand when you're walking somewhere? Or would you play it safe if she was totally into you? Would you keep trying to earn her interest? No, you wouldn't. You'd be playful, you'd be bold, you'd be unfiltered. That's caveman mode. This week, I want you to practice showing up as if she already likes you. Not arrogant, not cocky, just relaxed, decisive, and fun. Because when you act like the guy who knows he's the prize, she starts to believe it. This is how you start rewiring your brain for attraction. But if you really want to shift this deeply and permanently, you need to start seeing yourself as the high-value man she's hoping to meet, and that starts with the way you think. So I put together a download called the High-Value Belief Installation. It's a short, powerful mindset tool designed to reprogram the beliefs that are quietly sabotaging your confidence and your attraction, and also just the way you understand women. If you're tired of feeling like the smartest guy in the room and still losing the girl, this is the next step. You need to think like the guy she chases because attraction starts in your mind, not in hers. High value belief installations, it's a quick, powerful download that helps you rewire the core beliefs that shape every single interaction with a woman. We're talking about the beliefs that 99% of guys out there never realize they're carrying. Beliefs that quietly sabotage your game before you even say a word. So inside this download, and you can get it below, beliefs on sex and desire. Who's the prize? So you've got to flip the frame so that you stop seeking her approval and she starts seeking yours. Walking away. Are you willing to walk away? You have to install the emotional muscle to let go when her respect fades and you feel yourself chasing. You have to get comfortable with tension because tension is where desire lives. You have to stop rewarding beauty alone and you have to raise the bar and make her rise to your level. These aren't affirmations I'm giving you. They're frames. They're flip how you view yourself and how women experience you. Because the guy who believes he's high value doesn't need to prove it. She feels it instantly. And if you're ready to stop playing small, stop playing not to lose, and start showing up like the man that she hopes you'll be, download the high value belief installation below and start rewiring it. And again, as always, if you like this video, hit like so you let me know. leave a comment and let me know the biggest insight you got out of this, and also what you'd like to see me cover in future videos. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything.